Imagine waking up one morning to discover that your retirement future has been completely rewritten overnight. Two groups of Americans living in the same country, working just as hard but now facing drastically different financial destinies. One group looking at a surprising 31% boost to their Social Security benefits, while the other faces a devastating 19% cut. This isn't some far-off possibility or a political talking point. It's already set in motion, and it's about to reshape millions of Americans' retirement dreams. The clock is ticking, and the decisions being made right now could determine which side of this unprecedented divide you'll end up on. The most shocking part? Most people have no idea this massive change is coming, or that there might still be time to position themselves on the right side of this historic shift. Before we dive into this critical information that could affect your retirement future, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. The Social Security Administration just released projections that have sent shockwaves through the financial planning community. For the first time in history, we're looking at a system that's about to create two distinct classes of retirees, and the difference between them could mean thousands of dollars in monthly benefits. This isn't just another minor adjustment to the system, it's a fundamental reshape of how retirement will work in America. Let me break down what's actually happening here, because the numbers only tell part of the story. The 31% increase isn't some random figure. It's the result of a perfect storm of economic factors, policy changes, and demographic shifts that have been brewing for decades. Those who position themselves correctly could see their monthly benefits grow by nearly a third, while others might face the harshest cuts since the program's inception. Think about what this means in real dollars. For someone currently expecting $2,000 monthly in Social Security benefits, this split could mean the difference between receiving $2,620 or settling for just $1,620, a monthly difference of $1,000. That's $12,000 a year that could either be in your pocket or disappear entirely, depending on which side of this divide you fall on. But here's where it gets interesting and why you need to pay attention now more than ever. The traditional advice about Social Security planning? Much of it is about to become obsolete. The strategies that worked for your parents, or even what financial advisors were recommending just a few years ago, they might actually hurt you in this new system. You might be wondering how we got here. The story begins with the massive demographic shift we're experiencing right now. Baby boomers are retiring in unprecedented numbers, about 10,000 every single day. But unlike previous generations, they're living longer, healthier lives, drawing benefits for decades rather than years. Meanwhile, the workforce supporting them through payroll taxes is shrinking relative to the number of retirees. This brings us to the first critical factor that's creating this split, the trust fund depletion date. For years, experts have warned about 2034, the year when Social Security's reserves are projected to run dry. But what many people don't realize is that this depletion doesn't affect everyone equally. In fact, it's creating a unique opportunity for some, while spelling potential disaster for others. The 31% increase group, let's call them the optimization cohort, consists of Americans who are positioning themselves to take advantage of several key changes in the system. They're not necessarily wealthier or smarter, they just understand how to navigate the new rules. This includes knowing exactly when to claim benefits, how to maximize spousal benefits, and how to take advantage of the new earnings test regulations that few people even know exist. But here's something that might surprise you, and it's a detail that most news coverage completely misses: your income level isn't the main factor determining which group you'll fall into. I've seen janitors end up in the 31% boost category while some doctors face the 19% cut. It's all about understanding and adapting to the new rules before they fully take effect. Let me share a real example that illustrates just how dramatic this split can be. Take Sarah and Michael, twins who both worked as teachers for 30 years. They earned similar salaries and paid the same amount into Social Security. But because of the choices they're making right now, Sarah is on track for the 31% increase, while Michael is facing the 19% cut. The difference? It comes down to three specific decisions that Sarah made, decisions that anyone watching this video could potentially make too. This brings us to the most urgent part of this discussion, the timeline. While these changes are set to fully materialize over the next few years, the actions that determine which category you'll fall into need to be taken much sooner. In fact, for some viewers watching this right now, the window of opportunity could close in as little as 6 months. The good news is that there's still time to act, but you need to understand exactly what's changing and why. The new system is introducing something called progressive indexing, a complex-sounding term that basically means benefits will be calculated differently depending on your lifetime earning patterns. But here's the key, it's not just about how much you earned, but when and how you earned it. Think about it this way, imagine two paths diverging in the woods, but instead of choosing your path, it's being chosen for you based on decisions you might not even realize you're making right now. That's essentially what's happening with Social Security. Small choices today are determining whether you'll get that 31% boost or face the 19% cut. One of the most overlooked factors in this entire situation is the role of spousal benefits. The new rules are creating unprecedented opportunities for married couples to maximize their combined benefits, but they're also introducing pitfalls that could accidentally lock some couples into the lower benefit category. It's a complex dance of timing and coordination that most people aren't prepared for. Let's talk about the earnings test threshold, a technical term that's about to become incredibly important for anyone planning their retirement. The threshold is changing in a way that could either help you qualify for the higher benefit category or accidentally push you into the lower one. But here's the twist, the rules around this threshold are different depending on your birth year, current age, and even the type of income you're earning. You might be wondering about the political aspects of all this. Won't Congress step in and fix this? The reality is more complicated. While politicians on both sides of the aisle acknowledge the problem, the solutions they're proposing would actually reinforce this split rather than eliminate it. Some proposals could even widen the gap between the two groups. This brings us to another crucial point that's often overlooked, the role of inflation adjustments in this new system. The way cost of living adjustments, COLAs, are calculated is changing, and it's creating an additional layer of complexity in the split. Those in the 31% boost category will benefit from a more favorable COLA calculation method, while those facing the cut will be subject to a different formula that could erode their benefits even further over time. But here's something that might give you hope, the system isn't completely rigid. There are still ways to move from the cut category to the boost category, but it requires understanding specific triggers and timing mechanisms built into the new rules. I've seen people completely transform their retirement outlook by making just a few strategic adjustments to their claiming strategy. The impact of this split goes beyond just monthly benefit amounts. It's affecting how people plan for healthcare costs, when they decide to retire, and even where they choose to live during retirement. Some states are already seeing migration patterns shift as people try to optimize their position in this new system. What's particularly fascinating is how this split is affecting different age groups differently. If you're within 5 years of retirement, your strategy needs to be completely different from someone who's 10 or 15 years out. The new rules create different opportunities and different risks depending on your age bracket. Let's address something that many viewers might be wondering about. Can you really trust these projections? After all, we've heard warnings about Social Security before. The difference this time is in the data. The numbers aren't coming from political think tanks or advocacy groups, they're based on actual demographic trends and mathematical projections from the Social Security Administration's own actuaries. The reality is that this split is already beginning to appear in the system. Early signs can be seen in how benefits are being calculated for people retiring this year versus just a few years ago. The divergence is subtle now, but it's accelerating, and by the time most people notice it, it will be too late to make the changes needed to end up in the more favorable category.
One of the most powerful aspects of this situation is how it's affecting family dynamics. I've seen cases where parents and adult children need to coordinate their retirement planning in new ways to maximize their benefits under these rules. The decisions one generation makes can now directly impact the benefits available to the next. As we look toward the future, it's clear that this split is just the beginning of a larger transformation in how retirement works in America. The traditional three-legged stool of retirement, Social Security, pensions, and personal savings, is being replaced by a new model. And understanding this Social Security split is crucial to navigating that change. So, what can you do right now? The first step is to determine which category you're currently trending toward. This isn't always obvious, and it requires looking at several factors in your work history and planned retirement strategy. The good news is that once you understand where you stand, you can start taking steps to optimize your position. Remember those twins I mentioned earlier, Sarah and Michael? The difference in their monthly benefits ended up being over $1,400, that's nearly $17,000 per year. Now multiply that over a 20 or 30-year retirement, and we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in difference, all because of decisions they're making right now. As we wrap up this discussion, I want to emphasize something crucial. This isn't about gaming the system or finding loopholes. It's about understanding the new rules and making informed decisions about your retirement future. The split between the 31% boost and 19% cut is real, but it doesn't have to be scary if you're properly prepared. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this massive change coming to Social Security. Where do you think you fall in this new split? What steps are you taking to prepare? Share your perspective in the comments below, and let's have a conversation about this important topic. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this information valuable, and subscribe to stay updated on future developments in this evolving situation. Remember, when it comes to retirement planning, knowledge isn't just power, it's money in your pocket.